Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at AutoDesk. This was a stock analysis request from a couple of members, and here on this chart we have a couple of options, really just two main scenarios depending on how the internal structure within this area really unfolds. But basically we could be looking at a larger ABC pattern, and within this yellow structure we would have multiple options alone. But within the yellow structure, we will be focusing on the idea of a potential ending diagonal within the wave C, where we would have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, a wave 3 up, a wave 4, and a fifth wave that would be expected to still be ongoing. Now, for this expectation for this structure, I would probably prefer that we get a reset of the wave 4 correction. In the scenario of a direct extension to higher prices within this movement, I would be open to even track a potential wave 3 within the white structure, although it is going to be one of the more fragile interpretations, because within the latest developments, with this weak trend to the upside that has formed since 2022, we are not able to identify more than 3 waves to the upside, yeah? So I would need to look for an ending diagonal to be in formation here. Now, within this structure to the upside, we have a couple of options, but we are looking at this to be a wave 3, yeah? Whether it is already in place or whether it extends, we are looking for this to be our wave 3 to the upside. And within the idea of the white structure, this wave 3 in white, I could look even for a series of 1, 2 setups, but possibly even just a single 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This is a plausible interpretation. Within this wave 3, we wouldn't have reached quite the ideal target for the wave 1 extension. Yeah, we would have only gotten to the 123.6% extension. Well, I would have liked to reach the 138.2% extension, which already makes it a weak interpretation, a weak structure. But as long as we hold the current bottom within this wave 4, I am still open for it to be a valid scenario, although in the end it might still morph into a different interpretation, or it might even work out as a series of 1, 2 setups within this area, yeah? Something like this that could work out, where the latest structure, the latest wave 3 we would be tracking would be here a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and within this wave 5, we would expect to extend higher anyway. Now, for this interpretation, I would focus here internally within this wave 5 on the idea of an ending diagonal. So here we would have a wave A, a wave B, and a wave C that would have a top in place. Even this structure isn't very reliable in my opinion, because we have gotten an extremely weak wave 5 to the upside in this area. Even the wave 3 itself wouldn't have been too great, yeah? This would have to be a larger 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It is technically valid, but it's not going to be a favorable interpretation for me. If we had managed to build a more reliable wave 3, a more clear wave 3 to the upside, where we would have had something like a 1, 2, and this would have been an ABC within a wave 3, sure, we might have had better success in tracking such an idea, but since within this structure we do not have a 5-wave pattern, I cannot track it as a wave C. So yeah, we would have to look here at a potential 1, 2 structure, where yeah, we would be looking for a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5 to still form within this area, but it's going to be a very low quality structure in my opinion. Now, in this interpretation, we would still be tracking, we would still be focusing on the same area of support at the levels between the 38.2% retracement, so the $251 all the way down to the $189 level. And while extensions are certainly possible, and we could be building here something like a 1, 2, and then a wave 3 would still be ongoing, we would then get a wave 4 and then a fifth wave, nothing major would really change. I would only need to adjust this area of support up slightly, where the last level would be at the $204, but ultimately we would have already reached the area of support, and we would be looking to potentially form a reversal within either interpretation, which we'll have to wait and see how this structure really develops before assuming the exact count within this structure. Now, before we provide the alternative, the case where we fail holding this area of support, I wanted to give you a moment to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and if you enjoy our updates and stock analysis. So yeah, I can wait for a moment. Okay, you're done? Great. So in the case where we break the 78.6% retracement, for which we have pretty decent structural support we have formed within this area, even down to $179, $180 level, we have formed structural support. But if this breaks, with the $163 level being invalidation, we would be looking for a different interpretation. We would be looking most likely for an ending diagonal to take place within this entire structure. And while technically it would still be possible to look for a reset of this large wave 4, I find that a very unlikely interpretation, and I would deeply prefer that, yeah, we would be looking for a different count altogether, more specifically at the interpretation of having a wave C unfolding in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This would assume still that a wave 4 would be the correction taking place within this area, and then we would get only an ABC structure within a wave 5 before forming a very substantial top. Now, in this case, we would be watching the levels of support between the $155 all the way down to the $42.6. So far, we haven't even reached this area of support, so I wouldn't consider this to be our favored interpretation anyway at this point. But don't get me wrong, even if we build here this fifth wave that we are tracking in the white structure, it's not impossible for this yellow interpretation to still be taking place. This wave C in yellow could form even an impulse. It could form a diagonal structure even if we form the extension here within the white pattern, and this is going to be one of the more difficult charts. It is moving quite slowly, so it may take many years before more clarity actually occurs, and it's just not one of the great options we have, in my opinion. Now, in the smaller time frame, we can also have a look there. We might see some signs of a reversal since there has been something more of a relief rally during the last week, and within this structure I'm looking for an ABC pattern to ideally occur within this wave 2. So we would have a wave A down, a wave B up, and a wave C that would be taking place within this area. Now, within this wave C, I would probably prefer the interpretation of an ending diagonal, and within it, yeah, we would have something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't know why I changed the color to yellow. I would probably still use something different than the white interpretation, because I do want to give it the chance that a wave 2 bottom would be in place, which is technically possible, but I would need to see some more evidence for that to be a scenario that would be easier to follow. So for this scenario, for this idea of a bottom being in place, I would like to see the $266 level broken, the 61.8% retracement. I would like to see that fall, and then we wouldn't be able to reliably track a wave 4 correction within this area for a fifth wave to take us to even lower prices. Although I cannot rule out the possibility of lower extensions even with a break below that, because realistically, I could be looking for this to be a larger 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 within a leading diagonal, in which case, yeah, that would actually be a quite great warning sign that something even bigger would be forming to lower prices that we would very likely not manage to extend to new all-time highs, and it will be even something quite difficult to track the difference between, because in these two corrections, I have a very similar proportions in terms of time frame. If I were to start a reversal at this point, I would probably strongly prefer that this blue structure would be ongoing. If we extend in something like a little bit larger of an ABC structure, I could very easily see both interpretations work out. I could very easily see a different scenario that I don't necessarily think we need to keep an active track of on the chart, but a slightly different scenario that would allow a leading diagonal form to the downside to take place, that would suggest that after a relief rally that would most likely form within a 3-wave pattern, continuation within at least another 5-wave move to the downside, that could very easily take us into the yellow area of support. Now, keep in mind, we are still watching here the $189 level. A sustained break below that is a very great warning that this white interpretation is going to fail. So once again, this is not a high probability structure, but if you want to get access to our monthly top picks where we identify for you high quality structures, you can check out our channel newsletter. The link for sign up is in the description and it is completely free. You will even receive, still for the next few days, our list, our picks that we have sent out on Sunday with a detailed view of these structures and why I'm still looking for them to have great possibility for accumulation. Now, within this movement to the upside, we so far only have a 3-wave pattern, nothing reliable that I would consider, but we may be able yet to extend even higher within this pattern, so I could be looking at something like even a 1, 2, 3 within this area. It's not a very clear pattern to me, it's not a very reliable structure to me, and ideally, if we are to form a more reliable pattern within this area, I would really like it to hold here the 50% retracement for the possibility of an impulse to still take place. It's going to be a very fragile pattern, a very fragile structure, and I'm even a bit torn on whether we can consider this to be an internal wave 3 to the upside, but yeah, I suppose I would be watching out if we break the $238.5. Theoretically, we could have some support levels even below that, but none of this is truly reliable. Sure, if you want to zoom out and consider accumulation from a large time frame perspective, it might make sense, but then you would have to size according to the larger area of support. Otherwise, you wouldn't have clear levels where to set a stop loss, where to exit if things go bad, yeah? But for now, I don't believe adding more would be of value, so these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, once again, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership, and you even get a few cool perks in return, such as additional content, and priority to replies and stock coverages when there is a video slot open. And other than this, let me know what else you would like me to cover and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.